Hello there, YouTube. It is Sunday evening, September 24th. Changed my camera back to 1080p Super View. I tried 4K wide, and I figured it'd still just be wide, but just in a higher resolution, but not. It actually zooms in. You couldn't even hardly see the dash. It kind of zooms in to where you can see the windshield, and it was really bouncy, and you know, I bounce around on this thing anyway, being three wheels and big 10-inch wide tires in the back, and it, you know, even though I got air shocks, it still, the roads are a little bit bouncy. My head bounces. But anyway, back to that. 4K is not good when you have a helmet cam. I bet if I put on top of my helmet and just shot the scenery, it'd probably be fine. It'd probably bounce too much. Like, it's almost like you're zooming and it's just too shaky or too bouncy or whatever. But this should be a lot better. Anyway, one thing I talked about that I didn't use because I didn't like the video at all. Talked about when I met my wife. I think, gosh, it's 1975. I think we were in high school. 75 or 76. I was a junior, so it was either 75, late 75, early 76, or something like that. Anyway, I was a junior. She was a freshman, and I don't know how we met. I never saw her in high school. We grew up in a town in the Midwest, and believe it or not, in the 70s, it was just like American Graffiti. Man, we cruised, you know, up the back street all the way down Main Street, and there were hundreds and hundreds of kids out on the streets. You know, nobody did any vandalism. You know, we were cruising around town and just, you know, just hanging out. And I think I met my wife that time. A buddy of mine had I don't know if we were in his car or whatever, but we picked up I don't know how we did it. I think a friend of ours was with them, but picked up a whole bunch of girls, and my wife was one of them. And anyway, I think there was no room in the car, and I was in the back seat, you know, with them, and she ended up sitting on my lap because there was no room. And you know, I was a good kid, but she had like on a crop shirt where it was kind of loose, and I put my arm around her, and I had skin, so I pulled her shirt down and then put my arm on her that way, because I didn't want to think I was, you know, trying anything. So she told me later on that she knew at that moment that she was going to marry me. Isn't that funny? But anyway, we started going out a little bit. I mean, we just, you know, I would never go pick her up at her house because she was only 14 and wasn't allowed to date until she was 16. But, you know, we kind of hung out when we could, you know, that kind of stuff. And that's how we met. Been together ever since, oh God, I was 17 and she was 14. And she's still with me. I don't know why, but she is. But anyway, that's been, oh God, 75, 85, 95, 2005, 2015, 42 years ago. Lord, I'm getting old. But anyway, my brother and his wife met in high school as well, and they're still married. Actually, we went to homecomings and proms together. And God, my son, my oldest one, met his wife in 7th grade, which is, they call junior high, or middle school. Here they call it middle school. But at the wedding, one of her girlfriends from middle school brought in the annual yearbook or whatever, and she signed it Danielle Redmond, which is really weird. And then now she really is. So that was, I mean, they met younger than we were, which is amazing. but they're married. I think it's, I don't know what it is. I mean, my kids told me that, you know, all through their school years, middle school or grade school, middle school, high school, you know, they were the only ones that had their parents. Everybody else is divorced and on second and third husbands and wives, that kind of thing. But they were the only ones in among their entire friends that had their two original parents. So hopefully my kids learn that from us. I hope they do. I mean, don't know if I've ridden through here before, but this is Lampasas. It's another one of those pretty cool little Texas towns. I'll go down this street. Sunday night, so everything's pretty much closed. Kind of cool, right? There's a square. It's gonna be a nice sunset. Anyway, kind of cool.